surface, but it was worth it. We look back at the best finishes in Monday night history.
Leading by a point in the fourth quarter, the Bills merely had to run out the clock to preserve an opening night victory over Oakland. But it appeared as if they'd run out of luck, as Art Thomas gave the Raiders the lead with just over a minute to go. With their star, O.J. Simpson, injured and out of the game, Buffalo turned to young quarterback Joe Ferguson to save the day. Ferguson hit Ahmad Rashad for a 12-yard touchdown to rally the Bills to a one-point victory. The third touchdown between the two teams in the final 85 ticks on the clock. With 2 minutes remaining in the 1984 season, Dallas trailed Miami 21-14. That is, until Danny White threw into a crowd of defenders, only to have his errant pass tipped and caught by Tony Hill for a miraculous touchdown to tie the game. But Miami's Dan Marino was capable of creating miracles of his own, as he hit a wide-open Mark Clayton for the touchdown. For the first time in a decade, Dallas would not be headed to the postseason. On this Monday night in Buffalo, 80,000 unloving fans welcomed the undefeated Rams. Undaunted, Jim Everett found Flipper Anderson with a 78-yard touchdown, giving L.A. a 4-point lead with only a minute 22 to play. Bills' backup quarterback Frank Reich led Buffalo on a desperate drive, completing 7 consecutive passes, including an 8-yard strike to Andre Reed with 16 seconds left. Their third touchdown of the final quarter gave Buffalo an amazing 23-20 win. Losers of 11 straight at Mile High, things look bleak once again for Marty Schottenheimer's Chiefs. Arch nemesis John Elway scored on a design draw, putting the Broncos up 28-24. The Chiefs seemed to be holding yet another bad hand in Denver, but Kansas City had an ace up its sleeve in quarterback Joe Montana, who dealt Denver a 70-yard drive to their 5-yard line. And with just 13 seconds left, he laid all his cards on the table.
He throws to the end zone. It is off for a touchdown by Davis. Willie Davis, unbelievable.
Hurt by Willie Davis. Warren, you can take me now. I've seen it all.
In this seesaw battle, the Chiefs trailed the Chargers with only seconds remaining and no timeouts, until quarterback Steve Bono snatched Kansas City from the brink of defeat, capping off a 78-yard drive with an 18-yard touchdown to Derek Walker, sending the game into overtime. Then it became Tamarick Vanover time.
Vanover, up past the 30. He's gone. Vanover is almost gone, and now he is officially gone.
Monday Night Football tonight, best finish in the last 30 years. Our panel's choice, a one-of-a-kind finish to an NFL overtime.
Around here in Kansas City, you know, Monday night is a great feeling. Just driving to the stadium that night of the game, and you're like, wow, look at all these people out here already. I mean, it's just an exciting feeling.
I think that's one of the best places to play a football game. They have a lot of love for the team, and they show it. When you look up in the bleachers, you're not going to see a white shirt, a yellow shirt, or a blue shirt. You're going to see all red.
On a Monday evening in October, the Chiefs hosted the defending AFC champion Chargers and promptly fell behind.
4-yard line for Stan. Humphreys off play action to throw. Bootleg right, wants to run, throws. Touchdown, San Diego!
But with no timeouts and just over a minute left in the game, Steve Bono led his team downfield to the tying touchdown that sent the game into overtime.
We were up by 21 points, and we felt we had the game in hand. And for them to come back and tie it with 52 seconds left, I mean, it was unheard of. I remember the wind taken out of me as Darren Bennett punted the ball, It was high in the air. We thought we could cover down on them, and we have 5 guys surrounding this guy named Vanover. God, I hate that guy right now.
My rookie season, I was coming into the league trying to make a statement.
Keep an eye on him. He is going to be big time.
Cover guys didn't get down, and I was able to shake 2 guys at the line, and then it was all over with.
As he gets to the 30 and to the 40 and the 50, the noise becomes a physical thing. It becomes something that just assaults your senses. That's how loud and that's how absolutely wild it was at Arrowhead.
I just dropped to my knees. I dropped to my knees with disbelief.
It was the first game in NFL history where sudden death was ended by a punt return.
Marcus Allen lifted me up on his shoulder along with Neil Smith. I mean, that meant a lot to me that these guys would come out and lift me up on their shoulders, especially with all the success they've had.
It was like watching the end of Rudy, where they carried him off the field. Coaches get carried off after games because everybody's trying to suck up, but never players. How often do you ever see a player carried off the field? That was one of the really rare exceptions.
Well, he deserved it. I mean, obviously, when you do something like that, one place in your career where you can be lifted off that field, and that was his time.
Talk about a flair for the dramatic. That was about as good as it gets.
We know that guy. One of the great finishes. The U voted for another great Monday night finish that Marty was involved with, the Montana Elway game, Kansas City 31, Denver 28, 5 years ago. Coach, your memories first of the Vanover game.
It was an amazing circumstance, Mike. I ended up saying to somebody standing on our sideline, you know what? He's going to take this thing the distance. Now, I've said it 1,000 times, and it's never happened. But in that one scenario, I promise you. And immediately when he broke to the sideline, I had the sense, he's on his way. Then the biggest player on San Diego's coverage team, Bennett, the kicker, had him by the shoulder. He shook him off and went the distance. So it was a great play. But frankly, my favorite was the Elway-Montana matchup, the game in Denver that we ultimately won. And interestingly enough, the same play that we tied the game with in San Diego to Derek Walker was the same play that we had run in the Denver game and subsequently scored to Willie.
I have good news for you. Later on in the season, we have the best game in the history of Monday Night Football. That's one of the nominees. It might win there.
Good.
But that'll keep you tuned for another 6 weeks, right?